Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video, we're going to look at the Power Virtual Agent's new features which are currently in public preview, so you can start playing with them. So in this video, we'll focus on the most important ones. First, we'll look at the overall new design functionality that is available as we just get into the PVA section. Then we'll take a look at the enhancements which are there both in the messages and in the questions. Because remember, in the past, it used to take a lot of work to go ahead and add the images and the videos using that markdown style. But now you don't have to do any of that. Also, there is enhancements where you can use both the basic and the adaptive card style. Then we'll also switch gears and take a look at the Power FX functions. Yep, you heard me. Power FX can now be available in Power Virtual Agents, and I'll show you some demos on that. Then we'll switch gears and take a look at the topics management because there's some new features over there and the overall unified casual design that is available, something that both the low code and the developer people need to be aware of. So I have a lot to cover. Stick around. But first, here's my intro video. All right, so let's get started. Now here I am in my Power Virtual Agents right on this home section. And as you can see, everything looks pretty much the same. However, when I go and click on this plus create, I now get this additional functionality which says try the unified canvas preview. And when you click on it, it will actually give you the same type of things basically to go and give your chatbot a name. But here's the thing. Once you go and create this preview one, you'll actually see that this one actually has the bot type as preview. So it's actually a good thing that it's going ahead and doing that so that if you go and test it right now, you will immediately know which one is which. I went and actually added the preview over here in the title or in the name, but in case you forget, it's not a problem. The bot type already has preview assigned to it. So we're in good shape over there. But what we'll do is let's do some side-by-side comparison between the two. I'm actually going to click on this one, and I already have one over here, which is my original bots that I've always built over there, right? So we'll take a look at what's a little difference and all these, that way we can understand what these new enhancements are. So I'll go up to this new place over here. And the one thing I immediately noticed, besides the fact that it had the preview over here, was in the bot, basically in the testing section, right away it said, hello, I'm the preview of the preview chatbot. How can I help you? This was automatically populated, like a message already came in, which is something which was not there in previously. Because in previously over here, when I'm in my older style, which is the current one, the bot automatically did not start the conversation. But in the preview one, in this new enhancements that's coming, the bot automatically starts that conversation. And that's a pretty important thing that you have to be aware of. It's pretty neat over there. But let's keep continuing forward, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and click on my topics over here. Remember, I'm in the new bot. And I immediately notice some difference over here. First of all, I'm getting custom and system. If I go to my older sections over here, I have existing and suggested. So there's a little subtle change over there. It has the same look and feel, so I'm not too alarmed by this, but there is that difference. Existing right now, currently right now as we stand, it's existing and suggested, but in the preview one, it is custom and system. I also noticed that the lessons changed. The lesson 1, 2, 3, it changed. Because if you go over here, there's actually 4 different lessons. And that's neat because this is still going to be there. And as you and I know, I learned so much from these lessons. You have learned so much from these lessons. And I've told you that in the production ones, go ahead and toggle it off. So the scenario is the same over here. In these 3 lessons, you're going to learn a lot. The concept of simple topics is over here. The additional variables, the enhancements for the variables, which I'm going to show you, are in those lessons. So definitely go and take a look at them. And it has the same suggestion which I will make over here as I did before, is that when this is going to be your production topic, go ahead and turn these off so that they don't trigger based on all the conversations and cause any confusions. Lessons are great to learn. In the production one, you want to toggle those statuses set to off, all right? But let's keep going forward. Like in the system one right over here, there is this system topic called conversation start. So if I click on this conversation start, over here it says, hello, I'm bot name string. And if I click on it further, it says, how can I help you? You see, so the conversation start is a new system topic, which wasn't there before. And this is how we got this initial triggering directly from the bot, where the bot automatically starts the conversation. One of the neat things which just immediately fascinated me, because I've always wanted this, is that when I'm going to a page or a site, or even in the testing, the bot should just know I'm there and start the conversation. And I really like this enhancement. So I wanted to show you that topic things over there. All right. Next thing though, is when you go and start creating your topics, you come over here, you go and say, give the topic a name. right next to that, I saw this drop down. So let me actually just put a name first over here. Okay? This is live demo. All right, I'll click on that. And over here, right next to it, I saw this drop down. This is something which was not there before. And let's just go toggle back to the other one. I'll randomly click any one of my topics over here. And as you can see, this is what it was. I was able to go ahead and add or edit the name, but I don't see this drop down over here. In fact, when we go back, when we click on it, you will see that these are all the other topics that were there in this environment, which is something you can do automatically now. You can just toggle back and forth between each of these environments right over here. So this little drop-down functionality, even though it looks very simple, is actually saving you a lot of clicks. Something that really caught my attention over here, all right? But let's move forward. I also noticed that some of these things have got a different icon. So for example, over here, the test one, it's actually got a chemistry lab type of a item look and feel. But if you toggle over to the other one, you saw that there was actually just a chatbot, a test bot. So that was another interesting thing. And if I click on it, the test bot, will close. If I go and click on that, the test bot opens up. Right over here, the same functionality. If I go and click on it, it will slide to the left as it closes. When I click on it, I clicked on save. But when I go and click on the test, if I open it up, it slides back out over here, right? So that is all the same functionality. That is still available over here. And then all of these other things, which is details, trigger faces, variables, analytics, those are all still available over here. You've got all of that functionality, but right now they've just gone into these icons basically. So it's saving you a little bit of space over there. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. The other thing that caught my attention is this new functionality over there. It's called the hand tool. So there's the hand tool, and then there is also the selection tool. Well, how was it before? Let's go take a look. So in the older one, when I come over here, you see the hand tool was not there. And so the selection one was also not there. So what's this difference, Daniel? Well, we'll actually get more information when we go and start building some demos. But I want to show you this one example, is that right now as we stand, if we go into more of these advanced topics, you can automatically start sliding in, scrolling, everything automatically right over here. However, in this enhancement, the only time that you can do all of the sliding is by basically using the hand tool. And I'll show you that when we actually start building some of these topics on this board over here. But this was something new. The hand tool is focused purely on moving the design around so you can actually see the overall canvas. But if you want to go and start clicking on it, like right now, see, I'm actually clicking on it, nothing's happening. But the moment I want to go and start doing that, I got to switch over to the selection tool, and in the selection tool, I can do all of this. So it does help to make sure that if you're just viewing, however, is the overall bot logic, switching over to the hand tool helps. You can go and zoom in, zoom out, move things around, really helps. But you got to keep that in mind that this enhancement is going to be there. So you might have to switch back and forth between the selection and the hand tool. So these were some of the new design changes that I immediately noticed. But now let's go and start building our topic and see some of the enhancements over there, right? So I'm going to do the first thing. I go and click on this enhancement right there. I click on it and I go and add a phrase. Concept is the exact same over here. It tells you need to add 5 to 10 short phrases. You click on that link more, it gives you some examples of that. So that hasn't changed. What I'll do is for today's sake, for this demo, I'm just going to go and put in test. And that's all I want right now is just test. And you can see you can go and delete it. You can go and add multiple ones. As long as they're separated in a different line, they'll all come in. That's all good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and show you those enhancements in the message and in the question. So check this out. All right, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to go and just say send a message. Now when I do send a message, this looks completely different. And I'll show you how. Because I go over here and if I just come in and click on this section over here, right there, and if I go say show a message, this is pretty simple. That is what it looks like. See, this is how you go and add a message. There is not much over here on the tool side, no enhancements, nothing. There's no menu on the top. When I scroll over there, there is actually a little menu on the top, which is giving me the flexibility to go and actually add a more enhanced message. And I'll show you how enhanced it is because right, check out over here. First of all, you can do text and you can do speech. In fact, I need to do a whole separate video on the speech section on that. But I just want to show you that, it says right here to tailor your bot's response for speech, enable channel selected add variation. There's some little enable that has been done. For the sake of video, I'm just going to say that you have this feature to switch back and forth between text and speech. So that's the first one. But here is the one that I love. You can first of all go ahead and put image, video, basic card, adaptive card, and quick reply. There's all of these awesome functionalities, and it's not just in message. If I come over here and if I go and add a question, In the question, I've got the same functionality over here. I can go ahead and add the text to speech, and I can go ahead and add all of these amazing things over there. So let's actually start doing some testing over here, right? I'm gonna go ahead and now do the simple one. First is the image. So I'll click on the image, and when it comes to the image, you see how the design came in is that it says the message variations, which means what is the text I want to put over there. So over here, I'm just going to ask the question is that, are you interested in a Microsoft device? All right, I'll just ask something like that. And I want to give them an image, like what is the device that I'm talking about. So when I click over here on the right, this property pane flies in. So over here, I can actually add some stuff. I can go and say, okay, this is for a Microsoft Surface, all right? Just add that text title over here. But now I can go in and add an image. Now in the image section, I can go and put in an FX function, and I'll actually show you more of that. But the point I want to make over here is that you need to have a link, an existing link of an image which is already available. Be mindful that this image should be available anywhere in the chatbot. So try that, make sure you don't have any authentication problems. You know, putting it in a SharePoint library and in an image library and getting the link over there. This is not at that level yet right now. Right now, you just got to put in a URL of an image, which is easily accessible. Because I went and just got my image from an image with email, which I can actually go and put in anywhere in my browser, and I can access that anywhere. That image, when you put in the link over here, it shows up directly into your message. I love this. I do not have to use that markdown technique anymore. All I had to do was to use two little properties. The title, which is not mandatory, but then I went and put the image link and the image just showed up. I was super excited when I first saw this over here. But you can actually add more enhancements to this as well, because check this out. If I were to now come and say, grab a question, ask a question, and try to replicate that where I want to go ahead and now add a video. In the video, it's a similar situation. I can just say what the title is. This is a introduction to PVA, subtitle by Daniel. I can put that in. I can skip the image altogether. But what I can do is go ahead and grab the URL of my introduction to Power Virtual Agents media video, paste it over here. And the moment I do that, the video shows up over here and it has all of this functionality, which is basically the properties that we just added. It goes ahead and does all of that. See, I love that you can go ahead and do all these enhancements so much more easier, and we don't have to use that markdown technique anymore. Thank you, Microsoft, for doing this. All right, but let's actually go and add a few more things just so that you can get familiar with that. All right, because now it gets a little bit more interesting. So what we'll do is now we'll come back over here. We'll just pretend like we are going ahead and sending a message. And in sending the message, now we can actually go ahead and do a basic card. So let's try that basic card. In the basic card, these properties show up over here. So again, I'm going to go and just say a basic card test, new feature, put something in. I'll skip the image because we might be able to go and add an image over there. I could put an image of anything else that I want. Like for example, I could just go ahead and put this, device URL again, the one we did for that Microsoft Surface. We could go and do that. But here is the neat things. I can go ahead and add the buttons. So in this button, I'm basically going to go and say the text for this one. I'll go and say this is a Microsoft device. All right, and I can just do a copy. I can go and do a paste, and that will be our button over here. In fact, I need to just go and add the title as well, because that will be our first button. You see how that happened over there? And now I can go and add another button. So I can go and add another one. And this one, by the way, for each of the buttons that you select, it does something. Like after that, based on it, it will open up a URL, or it can make a call, or it can do a hidden message. Clicking on the button actually has an action, and the action types are all mentioned over here. This is what I like, is that it's just not a visual thing. It actually acts like a physical action button. And you can add more and more. So in this case, I can now go and say this will be a Dell, right? The text one, I got to at least put a title as well. Definitely a title needed. So I'll go ahead and type in Dell. And the moment I go and click outside, there you go. The Dell button shows up over here. So you can go ahead and add all of this. And this is what was the technique that I was just talking about, is that when you go ahead and add a simple message or even in a question, this is how you go ahead and add that basic card. Basic card means I didn't have to use any code whatsoever. It directly had this rich functionality to go and add all of this in functionality over here. All right, so the test I showed you was how we were able to click on the message, go ahead and add that, and add a basic card. Well, let's go ahead and test this adaptive card, because over there, a little bit of coding is required. However, it is a lot easier from us to also do some copying and pasting. And I'll prove that to you right now. So let's go and click on adaptive card. Granted, adaptive card means that you have to go in and add some code. That's the whole concept. And you can do it two ways. You can go and add this in the JSON format, or you can go in and add this as a formula. I'm going to stick to the JSON piece over here. And the neat thing is that whatever code you have to add over there, you can actually go and expand this so you can see more of this information. Well, the first thing is, Daniel, where do I even get any code to test this? I'm glad you asked that, because in the description below, I've actually given you a link. That link is for the adaptivecards.io. So here we go. If I go and paste it, you will actually get this link over here. And that has got a whole bunch of these adaptive cards functionality, all right? So what we're going to actually do is go and grab one of them that we can actually see for ourselves. So there's two of the weather ones that I like. There's the weather compact, and then there is also the weather large. So I'm going to use this weather large, right? And that's an example of what the adaptive cards looks like. So I actually click on try it yourself, and it takes you into this nice functionality where you can see the preview, you can see how the whole editor looks like, both from the data side of the how the data is actually fed, and the overall template of how the code is. But what you want to do is right up on the top over here and click on this copy card payload. That's what you want to go and click on, right? Now let's go back to our actual Power Virtual Agents and go and highlight this entire thing. Click on backspace or delete whatever you want, and I just went and did a paste. That's all I did. And I'm not getting any errors over there, and that should be fine because we went and copied the code as is. And now I'll go and click on OK. And you see right off the bat that code came up over here. So I just showed you an example of how I was able to go and actually get the code of this great design. You've got other ideas over here that you can actually go and take ideas from there, tweak it the way you want, and you can start using this adaptive card functionality directly available in your Power Virtual Agents, a new feature which is currently already available in preview. All right, so let's switch gears and talk about Power FX. And the best way to do it is by demos. So I'm actually going to show you two demos. One is how I can use Power FX to set to a variable, and the second one is using Power FX for a condition. So let's actually do some demos, right? So in this example over here, in this topic, I'm going to scroll all the way to the top right after the trigger. And over here, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go ahead and ask a question. And in the question, I want to ask the person about what is your name. So right here, I'm going to say, what is your name with the question? And that's all good over here. What we want to do is actually go ahead and now use the person name. And I'll show you why. All right, so when I just do a person, click on the person name. That's one of my favorite examples over here. And I'll leave it as var1. I mean, I could go and change it to var in the real life. For now, I'll just leave that as var1. Next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and set a variable. So I've clicked on that, and I'm going to click on set variable value. And in the set variable value, I'm going to go and create a new variable. And when I create a new variable, I'm going to click over here, and over there, I'm going to go and now select the formula bar. This is the neat functionality that's available over here, because as you can see in the formula bar, this is where you start leveraging some Power FX functions over there. So let me show you that example. All right, so in that example, I'm going to take this variable, which is basically the name that the person gave, however that person gave it to it. And for the sake of the example, I'm going to make all of that name, the letters, uppercase. So here's the formula that I'm going to use. I'm going to go and put in the function upper. That's basically what it is. And you see how it is? You see in Power Automate, when we go and start using Power FX, you start typing in what is the formula, and IntelliSense gives you some advice. The exact same functionality is available here directly inside Power Virtual Agents. So I'll go and now open this up, and I'll go and close it. I'll just open out the brackets over here. And the next thing I'm going to do is going to type in text, click on text. I'll open up the other bracket, and over here, I need to go and grab now the variable. Well, how do I get the variable? Well, for that, you go and type in topic, click on topic, hit enter, and now it'll tell you, hey, you already selected topic. These are the variable options that you have. So remember that name that we went and grabbed, and the person actually typed it in, that information is saved in variable 1 or var1. So I'm just going to go and click on var1, and now I'll go and click on first brackets, click on another brackets. It automatically goes and says, hey, everything is good, gives me a green check, which is fantastic, gives me that verification. I'll go and now click that over here, and then in the next thing, we can actually go and say, show me it. So I'll actually go and put in a send a message. In send the message, I will go and say, your name is, and I'll go and click on that one, and then we'll go and actually show variable 3 because we did the Power FX and saved it to variable 3. So I'll just select variable 3 over here, and then I'll actually go and click on save because we can now go and do a test. There's this test. All right, so it is saved. Let's come back over here. I'm going to go and do a refresh. And in the refresh, we know that the chatbot directly comes and asks us a question. I will now go and type in test. And when I do test, it's asking me, what is your name? All right, so here's the powerful thing, okay? I'm going to start typing a full sentence that says, hi, my name is Daniel Christian. See, I put in a full text, guys. I'm having a conversation with the chatbot, and I put in this full sentence. I say, hi, comma, my name is Daniel Christian. Daniel Christian is all lowercase. And now I go and click on send. Well, this information is automatically stored in that one variable. You see, this was actually stored in the var1 right over here. Then we used the powerfx function to go and make that upper function call, and it automatically went and updated my lowercase directly up over here to uppercase. That was the ability of using powerfx directly inside Power Virtual Agents. I mean, isn't this awesome? The example that I showed you was a simple one, but as you saw, we had a whole bunch of powerfx functions at your fingertips to go and build all of this in. So let me show you another example, which is how I can go and do a condition over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask somebody for a booking date, and based on the response they gave me, I'm going to say, hey, based on your booking date, you are approved for something, otherwise you're not. All right, we'll do all of that using powerfx. So check this out. I'm going to leave this first question over here. We'll go and set that variable as is. We'll leave all of this as there. Right over here, we'll go and now add a question. So in the question, I am going to add something called as booking date. All right, I'll put a question mark, and that's pretty good. All right, so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to identify that as a date and time. So I'll come in on the search and I'll type in date, and I'll go and grab that as a date and time. So this one is going to be our var4, something that we'll just leave that as is right now. And then what we'll do is below this, I will now go and select a condition, add a condition. And if you notice, this looks a little different. So check this out. When I go and add a condition, this is what it looks like right now. And just if you're interested, we'll go back to the older design. If I come over here and if I go and add a condition, this is what it looks like, all right? Based on the conditions, you have only these simple functionalities, whatever variable that you selected equals to, that's the simple one that is there right now. But in the future one, in the preview, this is how the functionality works. All right, so what I need to do now is I need to come up over here on the top. I'm going to go and change that to change to formula. So I basically, just to recap, I came over here, clicked on this ellipsis, and now go and select change to formula. And when I do that, it gives me the flexibility to go and add another formula. And again, when I come over here, I click on formula, voila, we get to start doing powerfx directly over here. So like I mentioned before, what I'm going to do is somebody's going to be asking me a booking date. We just got the information about. Now, if the booking date is, say, greater than 14 days, I will go and say, hey, you are eligible for a bonus or a discount or something else. But if it's less than 14 days, well, then you are not eligible. So how do I go ahead and do that? Well, what we have to do over here is first, we've got to go ahead and add this formula. So here's what it is. I'm going to go and say topic. And in topic, I got to go ahead and get that variable number 4. This variable number is actually the date that we just got. So I'm going to go and click on that. Next, I'll go and say if it is greater than, well, greater than what? Well, I got to now use the date add function and then use now and then add 14 more days. Do that, all of that, we're going to do that directly inside Power Virtual Agents. Remember, this is something we couldn't do before. I'm doing it right now over here. I'm so excited. All right, so let's actually go and type that in. All right, so I'm going to now go and say if it is greater than, and I'm going to say date add, then I'll go and say date add what to what? Well, date add 14 days to now. So I'm going to open up another bracket. I'm going to go and say now. It'll open up brackets, close the brackets. Again, this functionality, you've done this in PowerFX, in Power Automate. So this is not new. I'll go and click on that. I'll click on 14, close it, and I got to close it again. It validated that. Great. So just as a recap, we went and took the variable, whatever was the variable we did up there, which was the original, date we got. And then if the date of somebody's traveling is greater than 14 days, more than today plus 14 days, if it is greater than that, well, then in that case, we will do something. So that's what it is. Over here, if everything is good, below that, we will go ahead and actually add a message. So right here in this thing, I'm going to go and say a message right below this condition. And I'm going to say you qualify for a discount. All right. So I'm going to actually just go and type that in. You qualify for a discount. All right. I'll say that over here. However, under the all conditions, other conditions, I need to go and type in something else as well. So here, you do not qualify for a discount. So I'll basically say here, you don't qualify for a discount, right? So this is basically a condition using Power FX that we just added, but let's test it. So I'm going to go and click on save first, click on save. Let me go clear this because we can go and do a full test. And then once I clear it, it goes ahead and starts the conversation. I'll go and just put my trigger, which is test. In my test, it asks me what is your name. So let's do a full again test. It's like, hi, my name is Daniel Christian. Hit enter. It went and already changed my name. The test we did. It's okay, booking date. So here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to first go and say my booking date is, I'm just going to say November, say 15th, all right? I'm going to assume that the bot actually knows I'm already talking about this year. And I put in November 15th, all lowercase, and I hit enter. Well, it is checking. It's like, hey, which November 15th are you talking about? Are you talking about any of these dates? Like right over here, did you talk about November 15th, 2021? Or did you talk about November 15th, 2022? Really smart bot over here, which is why I highly recommend you use these type of identifiers over here, the date and the time one. So I'll click on this one, right? November 15th. Now, if you notice right over here, November 15th is less than those 14 days out. Remember the formula that we did over here for add now, it was for 14 days. Well, November 15th is less than 14 days because today is November 10th for me. So in that case, it actually went directly to this condition and it says you don't qualify for a discount. See right there, I picked November 15th and it says you don't qualify for a discount. Well, let's just test to see what happens if I do go and put in more than 14 days. So I'll go and start this discussion again. And then it says that, hi, which is, I'll go start with my trigger. I'm going to say test. In my test, it says, what is your name? I'll go and say Daniel, change it to uppercase, which is great. Now I'm going to actually make sure I'm more than 14 days. All right, so today is the 10th, more than 14 days. I'm going to go and say November, say 26th. All right. In fact, let's just do it this way, November 26th. Hit enter. The bot will come back and it's going to just verify, hey, which one is it? Is it November 26th, 2021? Or is it November 26th, 2022? I'll select the 2022. And then moment I did that, it immediately went through this information over here, this side, because the condition matched. And it said, hey, you qualify for a discount. So I just showed you the two tests, but it's not what was the condition, it's how I put it. We used Power FX to go and add this condition in this way. Remember previously, none of this was possible. But we were able to go and put Power FX by just going to the condition, what was initially in this format of editing, we were able to go and put that directly inside as a formula over there. This is awesome. The ability to now use Power FX without having a call to a flow, but directly inside Power Virtual Agents. All right, so last but definitely not the least, these are two other important points that I want to show you, these new enhancements. So over here now, just randomly, I'm selecting one of this plus over here. And as you can see, there is called as topic management. So in topic management, when I select that, you've got other functionalities. Now over here, go to another topic. That is something that we were already familiar with, all right? But here you have end current topic, the topic that you are in. There is also end all topics, which means in case you are bouncing around from one topic to the other one for however you went and build your entire topic or your entire chatbot, here you can go and end all the topics over there. You've got the transfer to conversation, which is great. You've got the end to conversation, which is great, but you've also got this, which is go to step. Now remember, previously, we actually had to go ahead and click on something right there, click on it, and then go ahead and grab it somewhere up. Now, in case that next step was all the way to the top, it sometimes gets a little difficult to scroll all the way up, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult. Over here, it's a little different. So I want you to first focus on something. Right over here, while I'm doing this, I'm in my selection tool. But the moment I come over here and I go ahead and select the topic management and I go and click on go to step, moment I do that, it changes directly into the hand tool. And what I can do now is I can scroll however I want. You see the convenience of that hand tool over there? I can now go wherever I want. And then once I'm on it, you see the hand tool change into this finger pointing. I click on it, and when I did that, it automatically went in and said, that's the step that I want you to directly go into. This overall process to go ahead and now loop over or switch to another destination step became so much more easier. Granted, it does get a little getting used to because I've been doing this for a while now, built so many chatbots. This is what I've been used to. Coming over here and doing it this way, is it easier? Absolutely, 100%. I will easily adopt this. I'll just have to train myself that, okay, if I see something like this, I gotta just make sure, okay, I do see that squiggly line over there. Yes, that is the actual place where I can go in and do the adoption piece, right? Which means it actually goes and starts that. So the process is great. I highly welcome that. Just the look of it is a little different, but overall, pretty neat. All right, last but definitely not the least is the synergy now you have between low code and developers. And here's what I mean. We build the entire thing as low code, right? We used power effects functions. Granted, at some point we had to go and use the adaptive cards, but we did a lot of copying and pasting. So it was still in the low code realm. However, if you are a developer who has gone ahead and built chatbots using developer code, if you want to go ahead and now see the backend code to just tweak something, you've got that functionality now. On the top right, where you see this ellipsis, you can go and click on this option, Open Code Editor. And the moment you do that, you see the full code in text, in format over here. And if you're comfortable with this, this is where you can go and tweak all of that in. So do this cautiously if you know what you're doing over here. But I just wanted to show you that if you're already familiar with this stuff, you can always come back into the developer stand over there and look at it from the backend standpoint. This might help you tweak things. This might help you make those changes that you just could not do it directly from the UI standpoint. And that's the functionality, the synergy now between the low code and the developers. So hopefully this got you excited to at least go and start testing out all of these preview functionalities available. Remember, preview, which means don't do this in your production, but I highly recommend that you start testing with it. Get yourself familiar with all these enhancements that are there. Hey, the power effects functions are available at your fingertips. Go start leveraging it. So hopefully this video got you excited. And as always, keep using Power Virtual Agents. Hey everyone, hopefully you found this video useful. And if you did, can you help me help you? Can you subscribe to this YouTube channel? Because remember, I provide fresh content on a weekly basis and it's 100% free. So if you have subscribed, thank you so much and pass the word. But if you haven't, subscribe, click on the bell notification and let the learning begin.